first question was, how's the tour going?
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah. And is this how many stops have you had?
Yeah.
This is our third stop.
It's the first
One more
leg
First leg
of 3 legs,
Okay.
and this is the third of 4.
And is Cynthia Hand with you guys sometimes?
She joined us in LA and in Chicago, but then she had to stay for the rest of the Romantic Times convention in Chicago this weekend, so she couldn't make it.
You were with her yesterday.
I know. But she's
missed
a lot
her
of fun.
and her signature.
So the question is, if all of your heroines were put into the Hunger Games, which one of them would win?
Oh God!
Like Juliet against Eve.
Now you can take it
Power,
at the end of your books, or at the beginning, or wherever you think. Now you have to fight.
I'm not sure.
Well,
it would be
yours
fair.
has a
Mine
lethal
has-
touch.
That's
like
Yeah.
tapping people in the
Yeah, I
shoulder.
feel like
Mine would easily just like be able to.
Yeah,
I have to say that
yeah.
too. I
Sorry.
mean, Arya definitely comes into her own at the end of the book, but lethal touch is pretty
gonna
hard
say,
to
lethal touch is
hard
hard
to
to
Unless
touch.
someone is way quicker than she is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're talking about
Never.
the end of the book. You don't know where Juliet ends up.
Right.
She gets like crazy strong in a lot of ways.
So what we're saying here is Juliet.
Lethal
wins.
touch.
I'm saying
hard
like,
to
I'm really
beat,
sorry,
yeah.
but she's
mortal versus someone who has to
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah,
fair.
exactly.
So let's say Eve versus Arya, because mine's
hard. I don't know. Even
don't
the
know.
beginning of the beginning of Eve, I think Arya would kick my butt. But
I don't know. Arya's pretty.
Arya's pretty.
Yeah, I actually think our characters
that would
stay
be
friends.
pretty well matched.
I think they would
Yeah.
be.
They'd be like, let's take the night walk
An
together.
alliance.
Yeah,
An alliance.
They would shock everyone and work together. Yeah.
They would take the berries at the end together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they'd beat the system together. I like that. That's all tied up very nicely.
Go on a date with any of your characters, platonic or not. Which one would it be, and what would you do?
That's a really good question. I'm not going to answer first.
I feel like Caleb is the rock climbing, outdoorsy type. So it's very strange to start like fantasizing about going on I feel like some sort of
He's like
allegiance to
18-year-old
Eve.
guy.
Like I shouldn't be talking about going on a date with
Like, I'm
Caleb
actually
because
blushing a little bit.
because that's just
Is that okay?
Like
Yeah, you
Eve's
could
my
go on a
friend,
date
and I
with
would never
Eve.
do that. I would never do that to her. So I guess a romantic date, I would go with Caleb, and it would probably be hiking or mountain climbing or
it's
something
romantic?
crazy. Yeah, I
I thought we were really
outdoorsy
bonding
stuff.
on this trip, and like I just,
But yeah, I feel like Eve, we'd have like a heart to heart, and she'd tell me some of her deep feelings, which she likes to share, especially when she first got out of school. So, but yeah, I'm up for a date with Caleb. As long as like when you take Eve out of the equation, I feel like I'm up for it. But
yeah.
I go on a date with Roar just because he would make me laugh. I know he would. So that's pretty easy.
No, what would you do?
Oh gosh.
Kill something.
yeah, that's romantic.
I don't know.
We'd skin some rabbits.
Yeah, right.
I eat it. He'd make you dinner, rabbit dinner.
Rabbit dinner.
There you go.
Ratatouille.
Mm.
No, he seems like the type of character that just makes fun out of anything.
This answer may surprise you, but I would really love to spend some time with Warner.
It doesn't surprise me.
Amy's like, can I come?
Yeah. I know. I was like texting
wielding.
her going, I love Warner. Is it wrong? I want them to kiss.
Well, they do.
No, this was before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
that
yeah.
moment.
Yeah, before the
Yeah,
moment.
well, that moment that wasn't really, it wasn't like a romantic.
Yeah, it wasn't
moment.
really a fun kiss.
So I was like, well, but yeah, he is very. I always say this, and it's weird because, in the first book, I mean, he's so like he's seriously psychotic. I mean, he does like some really atrocious things. But the interesting thing about him, I think, is that he really thinks that like what he's doing is for a greater purpose. Like he really thinks that he's doing good. He really thinks that he's helping, and it's just again, I know him in such a different way because like I'm also in such a different place in the series, and his character also like evolves in a lot of ways, and you learn so much about him, and I'm fascinated by people who have like just very like multi-dimensional, very layered, confused sort of people. But he's very interesting. I can't say anything.
I
I
want to step inside your brain.
But-
Just vibe.
I think that's what makes Warner so good is because you obviously have a reason for like why he is the way he is. You've got him figured out. I think a lot of bad guys in books are just kind of bad guys to be bad guys. That they don't
Right.
have any reason why they are acting the way that they're acting. But
Right.
it seems like Warner has depth to him.
Well, I think it's so easy to hate someone. Like, it's so easy for someone to be evil and to just, like, hate them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's so much harder to hate someone when they show flickers of humanity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like that conflict where it just, like, makes you pause and think. Like, I love that people are like, I honestly, after, like, the most frequently asked question I get is it the first in the series, is there a sequel? The second most frequently asked question I get is, I really like Warner. Is there something wrong with him? I like kid you not. I get emails all the time. I get tweets all the time. And people are like split almost 50-50. Like people are either like, if you like him, you are completely certifiable. Or they're like, no, he's like way more interesting. Adam is boring. And I'm just
No,
like,
I'm not going to go there with that. I wrote down, what did you think about the number of adults at the signing that seemed to be, like, how many teenagers were there here?
Me and Austin.
Like 4.
It doesn't really surprise me though. I feel
that how
like
it's
I feel like one of the most exciting things about writing in YA right now is that you'll get emails from a mother and a grandmother and a granddaughter, and it's like all 3 generations read your book, and that's to me that's like the most exciting thing about writing YA. I had a moment when I was writing Eve, and I was like, someone could be reading this who hasn't even had their first kiss. And someone could be reading this who's gone through a divorce, and having that wide audience is so exciting.
yeah, that's so true.
It's very true.
So, and it varies. There's always, I find that there's always a lot of adults, but it varies the kind of, how many teens to how many adults.
I just got an email from my neighbor's dad who was in town and like happened to pick up the book, and he was like, "Can you sign this?" I'm like, "I'm not in town."
Well,
He's
I am definitely giving this to my dad.
60-something, so
Because he is such a, I mean, I'm not giving it to him, but I will let him read it.
Yeah.
But him and my mom both are young adult readers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. My mom didn't like start reading young adult until like I started writing young adult, and then like I gave her my book to. I forced all of my bad manuscripts on my mom, and she was like, "It doesn't make sense," and I'm like, "You just don't understand. It's a great book." And I'd like rip it away from her, and like she was like trying so hard to be supportive, and I was like, and so finally though, I mean, she read this and she was like. I remember she kept asking me, she's like, "Did they keep their clothes on?" Maybe. But yeah, so she, but then I started like giving her books to read, and she like just loved it, and so now she's like reading like all my books, and and I'm encouraging her to read too. I think it's nice to see that that anybody can read YA.
Yeah.
I do think though that to echo everything you guys said, it's really cool. It does reach like a broad range of readers, which is really nice.